we were talking about who are we talking about? Somebody, and it was like I had to give credit to Jason Tatum. Like, no matter, I think it was Kawhi, right? Like, we saw the Clippers, great game. Kawhi's been, he had a great game last night, and we'll get into that. But the one thing you can say about Tatum is he's consistent, right? So, I mean, I got to give him his flowers. And I'm starting to, like, change my mind. I'm not going to say Tatum is a superstar. That's been my only argument with the whole Tatum narrative so far, is that everybody wants to put him on this pedestal. But at this point in time, like, I'm not going to come at him with any negative energy. I'm positive about Tatum. I like what they're doing in Boston. But he just hasn't kind of eclipsed what I expect him to eclipse. So anyways, that's all I have to say about that. Chat, what's good? Happy Thursday. We're back with another episode of Fluent and Chill. Fluent he's been attending some business, working a little bit overtime. So he will be here later in the stream. But for now, he just got me and Jay. Jay, you doing good?
H Boogie, what up? We are in effect. Basketball season has just commenced, a week into the season, and it is so dope. 100%. We so feeling this. So this is good. I would like to ask you really quickly though, H. What do you think? What would you classify as a superstar? What is a superstar to you, H? Not an example. Not an example, because and actually, H, you know what? I would like an example too, in addition to telling me what a superstar is.
Yeah, so I know many people have so many different definitions, but for me, it's somebody that, one, is consistently the best for a long period of time, and winning is a part of that for me. So the reason I don't consider Tatum that is because, yes, he's gotten so close, but Tatum's also had a fantastic situation. So for somebody like Luka, right, he's as well, I wouldn't consider him a superstar yet, but I think he's getting there, even though he's in somewhat of a bad situation. Of course, I think the only superstars in the league are KD, Steph, LeBron. Like, I'm not giving out a participation award to here you go and you go and you go just because you're a great player. Like, I want to see that for 5 to 7 years, and I think that's what can make you a superstar. So
being consistent is being a superstar.
Being
it sounds like winning
and postseason as well, like not just one or the other. Like Embiid, he just won MVP, and he's a fantastic regular season player, but we're not seeing that translate into the postseason, and for me, that's a problem. On the other end, you got Jimmy Butler, who's a fantastic postseason player. Unfortunately, that hasn't translated into a championship yet. Hopefully one day, but the regular season counts too, right? Yeah. So I think it's like the whole package, like you see in LeBron, KD, and Steph, that we don't see all across the board. So something that I think you stand apart in. But what do you think? What is your definition?
It sounds fair, because essentially what you're telling me is that somebody who is awesome in the regular season and elevates whatever that legend is in the regular season, elevates that legend in the playoffs, right? And does that for a long time, because that's what I think that is. In addition to that, embodying what the organization is. You are everything that our organization is. You represent all of that stuff. Right. We run our offense through you. You are the face of our franchise. Everything that we are as an organization, you are that. I think that's what a superstar is, when I think about what a superstar is.
In chat, you are absolutely right. I would consider Jokic a superstar, and it's not just because he won that chip, but
Hold on 1 second, H.
But like exactly what you guys said. He embodies that, the franchise, and Jokic.
I'm sorry, H. It's what you call it weather out here in South Florida. So it's now breezy weather where I don't have to have the air conditioner. I can open up the windows because it's actually nice. Yeah, I can do that. No, there's no extracurricular extraterrestrial activity in my house. No, that's not going on. No, that's good. So H, as I was saying, so you are the face of our franchise. And not only are you the face of our franchise, what you do in the regular season elevates into the playoffs, and winning does matter. You don't necessarily have to win the NBA championship, H. And the reason why I say that is because winning the NBA championship, winning the bowl game, winning the World Series, H, being good ain't good enough. You need some things to go your way. Right. You absolutely it does. But when you are everything that we talking about, and we're in contention, and you are the main reason for that, and we are a viable organization because of you, that's what I think a superstar is.
100%.
Yeah.
Greg, Fluent is not load managing. He's working very hard, but he'll be back. Hopefully he'll be here within the next hour.
Tone is not load managing. No, he is not. We would be on his ass if he was.
Absolutely not.
Yes, we would.
Okay, so obviously you guys saw the title of this. We want to get into the trade. I haven't actually talked to you, Jay, since all this went down over the weekend. Yep. So I want to get into that. But James Harden is now officially a Clipper. I don't believe he'll be playing until, I think they said Monday will be his first appearance. So we saw him on the bench last night. Although PJ Tucker's, he played, but, Harden has to do his little thing and kind of soak it all in before they get started. So I want to go into not only what this means for the Clippers, how this will work, what rotations you see. Are they going to stagger? Are they going to play Russ and Kawhi, PG, like how is all that going to work? But I also want to talk about Philly and what this means for them. So give me your basic thoughts on James Harden as a Clipper. Were you surprised, first of all?
That I wasn't surprised that he was traded because, I think that this situation I thought it was repairable, but I thought that at some point they were going to go their separate ways. But I thought James was going to be a professional. He was going to show up to camp. But then we get to a point, H, where he's under contract. He's healthy and he's not playing. Well, H, you're going to have to start explaining yourself. Why isn't this guy playing? Why is he out of the lineup? And if he's not playing, if you're waiting for a trade partner, then why is he here? Yeah. What is he doing here? The players in the past who you've decided to trade and not having the organization anymore, you've moved on from them immediately. And if you didn't move on from them immediately, before you found a trade partner, you separated them from the crew because you didn't want that element around the crew to seep into what was going on. So you got a bunch of grown-ups on this Philadelphia team with Embiid, right? With Patrick Beverley, with Tobias Harris, with these guys. You got a bunch of grown-ups. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to solidify themselves as being a threat in the East. The last thing we want is to be involved with a guy like James Harden who doesn't want to be here, because that seeps into the rest of us. That, well, if he don't want to be here, then why doesn't he want to be here? What's going on? So they decided to move on from him. And no, I'm not surprised that he ended up with the Clippers. I really liked Russ at the lead guard spot with this Clipper team. I just liked his dynamic. He took the pressure off of both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George as a primary ball handler and a playmaker. He gave them the time to just be free and to play on the wing, which is what they actually are. They're wing players. They're not primary ball handlers. They're not playmakers like that. That's Russ' job, right? So now you get Russ, who's doing that, and then you get into the meat and potatoes of the game where the X's and O's really don't matter as much. They still matter, H, but they don't matter as much because we get to a point now where, I need a bucket. I need to stop. Can you do that? And just go out and do it. And that's when Russ moves to the corner. That's where Russ gets phased out of the offense as a primary ball handler. And I was liking that dynamic with this crew. Right. Now you want to add James Harden to it, to a crew that's, number one, underperformed in the playoffs. Number two, been injured as many times as they've been injured. They're the Clippers at the end of the day, and we all know who the Clippers are. It's like the Cowboys. The Clippers are going to clip. That's just who they are. And now you want to add James Harden to this mix, who's a phenomenal player, and now he's going to come into a dynamic that they're trying to figure it out. Now they're going to add him to it with the baggage that he's bringing. I don't like it, H. I really don't. I don't like it at all. The plus side to this, though, is this isn't mid-season. This isn't like February and we got 2 months to figure it out. The season just started a week ago.
Yep.
So at any point, we could pull the plug on this thing. The problem that we're having, H, is what kind of trade value does James Harden have at this point? I don't think anybody's interested in him whatsoever.
I didn't think he had any prior to going to LA. Like, it wasn't like LA was desperate for a James Harden. Like, they didn't need him. So my question is, what was the point of this? Is this a backup plan to if Russ ends up not, I don't even think this has anything to do with Russ or what he's doing wrong or right. I don't even know what this move was.
Now, remember too, H. Now we're talking about a team with Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, who all come off the books after this season.
Right.
This is not like these guys are extended for an extended period of time. Russ only has 2 more years left on the deal, including this year. Zubac has 2 more years left on the deal, including this year. They open up a new arena next year.
Right,
so
right.
Who are we trotting out next season when we open up this new arena? Are we trotting out Russell Westbrook and Terrence Mann and Norman Powell? That's what we're doing? I mean, no. I understand that. I understand that it's more viable if you got players that have some star power, like Kawhi Leonard, like Paul George, like James Harden. But if this thing is a disaster, then how are we selling this? But I wanted to ask you, H, because I'm thinking to myself, we have this dynamic of how James Harden is not going to work with this group. And then I was thinking to myself, H, what happens if this thing actually works? What happens if they actually put this thing?
Of that happening?
All right. It's not much of a chance considering what's going on. But like, what happens if this thing actually works? You got Russ at the 1.
Yep.
You got James Harden, who'll play the 2, who's played off the basketball before. He's played the majority of his career on the basketball, but he'll have to play off the basketball. But you got you got James Harden at the 2. You got Leonard at the 3. You got Paul George at the 4. And remember, H, Malone, Chris Webber, Garnett, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, Barkley, all them guys are gone. So the brute force 4-man, Paul George doesn't have to worry about that, right? So, and not only that, Ty Lue is a small ball merchant, as we all know. He's the king of the small ball lineup. I'm watching last night them playing the Lakers, and he's got a lineup of Bones Highland. He's got a lineup of Bones Highland, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Norman Powell. This is his lineup. So it's not ridiculous for me to think Paul George at the 4, Zubac at the 5, and Zubac is not going to play an extended amount of minutes. When you get into the meat and potatoes of games, he's going to go small because that's what Ty Lue does. He's a small ball lineup kind of guy. What happens if these guys just segue into their roles where Russ is now a primary distributor? James Harden plays off the basketball and he's just a scorer. Kawhi Leonard is a slasher/wing player. Paul George is a stretch 4. And Zubac is your dirty work guy. Plus those guys we have on the bench. What happens if this thing actually works? How are we talking about these guys? How are we talking about James Harden if they actually win it? Russell Westbrook is going to be a member of, in the next year or 2 years, H, Russell Westbrook is going to be a member of the 25,000 point, 10,000 assist club. You add a ring to that? We're talking about a 9-time All-Pro and a league MVP. There's going to be some really uncomfortable conversations that are going to be had that people don't want to have when you add a ring to that, because rings have a tendency to give people amnesia.
100%.
100% they give people amnesia and they forget about the other stuff. Right. I mean, I'm just wondering how this thing is. I'm wondering how it's going to work. But on the flip side to that, what if it actually does?
I mean, look, this is a conversation we've continually had about this Clippers team, especially with the additions of, since Kawhi and Paul George. And on paper, they have looked like one of the best teams in the league. It just hasn't translated into something that's been, they were close, right? We saw, even without Kawhi, it was that 2021 when we saw playoff P, like they almost beat the Suns and went to the finals. Like it was an incredible series. Look, Jay, we have 2 personalities in Harden and Russell Westbrook, who we've seen play before. And, I don't think there's beef or anything. I think they have a good relationship. I don't think some of the stuff the media tries to paint about them is true. But let me just read this quote that came out 30 minutes ago. And tell me, this is the type of player you're adding into your team and expecting this thing to work. James Harden said, "I'm not a system player. I am a system." And so you're integrating a dude like that who's caused mayhem across the league over and over and over and over. Yeah. I don't expect this to win. I expect him to do his job and play his role, but I think you've got this many egos, attitudes, star power, all culminated on one team. And you can't just forget about the bench, because a bench is such a crucial piece into winning a championship. So if any relationship or chemistry is off at all, it's not going to work. We've seen it time and time again. So I mean, what is Harden doing? Like, is he just trying to get, make his big impact as he arrives to LA? Like, what is this all about?
Well, first of all, H, I really hope he didn't say that. That's number one. And the reason why I'm hoping that he didn't say that, because for fans like you, H, who's a Golden State Warriors fan, you're standing on a chair applauding this kind of behavior because the implosion is going to happen really soon. Count down to the Clippers imploding in 3, 2. You know when it's going to happen. Number two, if you are the system, I mean, we remember him in Philadelphia, right? We remember him in Philadelphia.
And he was talking about on not playing freely with the Sixers. So he's addressing this as like, I couldn't play freely because he considers himself the system.
Right. And he's going to be able to do that. But he's going to be able to do that with the Clippers, play wide open and play freely with them, which I find it a little interesting because you got 4 ball dominant guys. And now you are the most ball dominant of the 4 ball dominant guys because you dribble the basketball more than any of these guys. You shoot the basketball more than any of these guys when I'm watching your game. So with that being said, the Warrior fan, the Laker fan, the Suns fan, the Minnesota fan, they have to applaud this kind of behavior because this is just the beginning of the ridiculousness of James Harden. My girl Jay said something to me, and I thought it was really interesting, H. James Harden is the guy who, when you walk into the party, you like, yo, what's going on? You're so happy to see him. Then like 2 hours later, hey, yo, come get your man, yo.
Yeah, we're done.
Hey, come get your man. And security is carrying him out. And then you getting pulled to the side. H, the next time you come here, don't bring him.
Yeah.
You're not welcome in here no more with him. You absolutely can show up, but him, nah, you can't have him in here anymore. And that's the kind of stench that he leaves when he leaves anywhere, right? So with that being said, this Clipper thing, who the Clippers are, right? Who the Clippers are, and now you're going to add James Harden to this. One of 2 things can happen here, H. This thing could actually work. And if it does work, there's going to be a lot of uncomfortable conversations that we have to have. But then this thing could go ridiculously bad.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be the Clippers. I don't think it's going to be something where we say, yo, this was a disaster. All we can say is it's the Clippers. This is who they are, right? This is what they're about. And we shouldn't be shocked by this. If we're shocked by anything, it's the fact that it actually worked.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone's expecting this to work. Look, I actually really like this Clippers team. I love all the dudes that make up this system. I do. I just think when you bring in somebody like Harden, who, like, I don't want to discredit him last season. I understand his frustration. I just, more so, what does this do to the league? You know, when somebody breaks the law in such a horrific way that they have to set a new precedent or start a new law, I feel like that's what's going to happen with what Harden and not just Harden, multiple stars have been doing. When you reward bad behavior, not necessarily like Harden had bad behavior. He's a grown man. This is his job. Like, I understand that, but I consistently see GMs and owners rewarding poor behavior that is setting a bad precedent, and that's going to start to leak into stars and role players and more and more and more. I don't understand what value, how somebody with so little current value as Harden can keep getting away with this. Like, it's frustrating to see. And do you think that this is going to impact the league at all, or are they just going to continue to allow this to happen? And also, how can LA have Kawhi, PG, Harden, Russ, and some fantastic role players? How are they able to afford all of this? Like, I wasn't there just a new did they just come out with a new thing?
They just signed a collective bargaining agreement. Absolutely, they did.
So how does that work?
They just did. Well, number one, again, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are in the final years of their deal. They got player options after this season. Now they can decide to re-up, or they can decide to exercise those player options. Russ is on the cheap. It's not like Russ is making a whole bunch of money. Yeah, Russ is around the vet minimum. I think he's on a 2-year, $6 million deal. So they got Russ on the cheap. And then you got James Harden, who also comes off the books after this season, right? So he ended up opting in. That's how the 76ers were able to get. That's why the 76ers were able to get leverage, so they could get something back for him. So Paul George comes off the books after the season. Leonard is going to end up coming off the books after the season. James Harden is going to end up coming off the books after the season. So essentially, they just went all in. It's not like Harden was in the middle of a 4-year deal like Dame is, and he axed out. No, he's actually coming off the books after this year. Now, as far as him being involved with the Philadelphia 76ers and the way that they handle this, I'm on record saying this. You have to do your job too.
Yeah.
I, as a general manager, as the president of basketball operations, I am willing to extend you. When you play as bad as he played in the postseason and you're asking for a raise, we have to advance at least. Yeah. And when I say we got to, we can't be in the same spot that we were in when you got here. Now we moving on. And we're in a different, if we're moving on and we're in a different space, I think James Harden is getting extended. But the fact that we're in the same space and now we have to deal with the headache of you, the Philadelphia Brass aren't interested in that. No, they're not interested in that at all. I do think that this could have been worked out, but it was to a point where I think it was best for both parties to move on, and they did that. So as far as James Harden as far as this deal with all of these guys being on one team, again, you got Russ on the cheap, and 3 of those 4 guys are in the last year of their deal. So it's not that big of a deal.
Okay. Chat, I want to know, drop if you think this is going to work or if you don't think it's going to work. And we'll get a little sense of kind of the majority view. I don't want to be, negative about this trade. I do like the Clippers. They need something because they've been missing the mark time after time, so hopefully it does something. Yeah. I just personally am not a believer in somebody. I think history speaks for itself, but you never know. You never know. But what's been interesting, Jay, is like the West, honestly, almost every single game that I've watched so far this season has been so competitive, so close. But
is this not fantastic, H? Is this not great?
It's amazing. This is one of the best season kickoffs of NBA I've ever seen.
Yes, absolutely. This is great. I love it.
We're seeing the older veteran players, but we're finally seeing these young guys that we've been so excited about. They're finally elevating to a point where they can be competitive. They're team leaders. And the first one that comes to mind, we saw it last night, was OKC and New Orleans. Yeah, and the Pelicans. Absolutely. And so we're seeing Shea, we're seeing Zion. We have most people healthy. Obviously, Brandon Ingram is already he's injured, I guess. But, we're seeing guys already sitting out. Bradley Beal, anybody know when he's playing? Is he planning to play this season?
Apparently that injury is a lot worse. But with that being said,
did he get injured practice?
Well, here's the thing, H. He had a back injury when he was in Washington.
Right.
That was going on. Right, apparently this thing is worse than what was advertised. And if it's anything structural, how did he end up passing a physical?
That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. So this isn't lingering because they said he was going to play. I don't think this is a lingering. I mean, it could be a recurring injury, but I don't think it's a lingering injury. But who knows? We'll never know. But
and with that being said, we're in a space now where the majority of the league is quote unquote healthy. Right. And to be honest with you, H, this is some of the best talent that I've ever seen in the league. Not only is it some of the best talent collectively, it's some of the best teams that I've seen. That's why it's so much fun to watch right now, because you got so many players, so many good players in the league today, as opposed to in years past, good players, but then there was good players. And then there was these dudes. Yeah. Like, there's not much separation. Like, when you're talking about the top 15, the top 20, the top 25, there's not much separation when you're talking about these guys. And with these guys on the teams that they're on, we're talking about something completely different. I love what I'm seeing with Oklahoma City, with this young core that they have, right? I'm on record. I'm not slowly, but I am quietly, and I'm about to start yelling it, but I am a Herb Jones stan. Yes, I am. I love Herb Jones. I am a big time Herb Jones stan. I've been a Herb Jones stan, been a Herb Jones fan. I'm watching this kid, and I'm watching him do the job that he did on on Gilgeous-Alexander last night. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
What you're not going to do, H, is you're not going to stop guys. It's very difficult to stop guys. But if you can make it difficult on people, that's what Shea did. I mean, that's what Herb Jones did with Gilgeous-Alexander last night. He made it hard on him, forced him into a lot of tough shots, kept the basketball away from him. When he was forced him into tough situations where when the shot clock was running down, he was doing stuff like that to keep him off balance. And that just made that New Orleans defense so much better because they rely on Shea so much offensively. That defense is what got New Orleans back in that game last night. And because of that, New Orleans actually looks viable. Now, here's the difference, H. I know it looks good right now. How long can I expect for these guys to hold up? And I said this to you already, H. Zion got this season. If I get 25, 30 games, and he breaks down again, I'm out. Yeah. I'm OUT out. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I am out on this guy. But if I can get 65, 70 games of health from him, I think this New Orleans team is going to be something to reckon with. I think that he could be an all-star again like he was a couple of years ago. I think he could possibly sneak onto the all-league team. I think that we're looking at a damn good squad in New Orleans. Now, with Oklahoma City, what I'm watching with them, and I'm on record saying this, Chet Holmgren is Sean Bradley with a better handle and a jump shot. That's who he is to me. And that's not a bad thing because Sean Bradley is one of the best rim protectors in NBA history. Sean Bradley was one of the better defensive players in NBA history. Yes, he was. The problem was that we always saw him getting dunked on by Tracy McGrady and Shaq. So everybody thought that he sucked. No, he was one of the best rim protectors the NBA had ever seen. If you add what Sean Bradley had, if he's got a super duper handle and and he can knock down the long ball in transition, how much better of a player is he? Because that's who Chet is. That's what I'm looking at with Chet. When I look at Chet, that's who Chet is as a player. So when you add those things and you add what Chet brings, to the table, this Oklahoma City team is going to be something to deal with. I have them as a bona fide playoff team at the end of the season. I don't think they're a playoff team. I don't think they're a playing team. I think they're a bona fide playoff team.
Ooh, I don't know if I'm quite ready to say that. I think obviously right now they look good. But man, the West is so deep. I'm just not there quite yet. But what I want to say though, I'm always hesitant. I know Fluent, when he gets in here, he'll probably have a lot to say about Chet. I gotta say, he's been impressive. He makes that team a whole lot better. And I mean, from what you've seen so far from such a small sample size, Jay, is it crazy to say that Chet is that much below Wemby as far as skill set goes? Can we have that conversation? I think we need to have that conversation.
Well, if you think about what Chet brings to the table, handle, shoot the jump shot, rim protect, get up and down the floor, run like a deer.
He's willing to take physicality as well. I mean, he bully, but he's taking it a little bit better than Wemby, in my opinion.
And remember who we're talking about here, H. We're talking about a kid. I don't think he's 20 yet. If he is, he just turned 20. So we're talking about a kid here who's who hasn't stopped filling out. H, what you see in Wemby, Chet. This is the future of basketball. So what you saw with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, when everybody said that jump shooting teams can't win the NBA championship, and now Steph and Klay show up and they actually do it, and now this is the future of the league. And then you got guys like LeBron James going, okay, I got to add a long ball to my game if I want to stick around. This is what the NBA is about to look like, H. It's about to be a bunch of 6'10" to 7'3" ridiculous athletes with ridiculous handles and jump shots. Why? Because if I can't do that, I'm not going to be able to stick around here. Now, my man Tone told me that you can't expect the NBA just to be influxed with 6'10" to 7'3" guys over the next 10 to 15 years. H, they're already in the league. It's not like they're already.
Like it's already happening.
Right. They already in the league. It's a bunch of 6'10". Giannis is 6'11". KD's 6'10". So it's a bunch of guys like that. It's just a matter of time before they see what guys like Chet, what guys like Wemby are doing and going, I gotta put that in my game. Bo, guys like that. I gotta put that in my game. Otherwise, I'm gonna be a dinosaur and I'm gonna be pre-existent and I'm gonna fade into black. That's gonna happen.
Yeah. And again, we're so early into the season. We have to see how they hold up. We know that and what Fluent always says, somebody with a frame like that, injuries are very, very likely, but we don't wish that on them. And so far from what I've seen, it's been fun to watch, right? It's kind of changed up.
Yes.
Hold on, sorry, there's a little bit of an echo. So Jay, from your perspective, and when Fluent is here, we'll talk about it a little bit. But talk to me about Scoot Henderson and kind of his slow start, I would say, in this season so far. I think he's like 1 of 18 from 3. If you watched the game last night against, was that yesterday, the Detroit game?
Yes, last night.
Yeah, which was a fantastic game. They were down a bunch. They were able to climb their way back, get the win. And he had a bit of a better game. But what do you think about why is it taking him so long to kind of find his space with that Blazers roster?
Well, 2 things. Number one, he rolled his ankle last night. That's why he ended up going out of the game. So he didn't play. He didn't play the whole game. Number 2, I just got the job. Now I can appreciate, there's signs where you can see a guy athletically, you can see a guy in terms of his handle, but then you got guys who it just takes a little bit more time. His coach, for example, just so we know, his coach was traded in the middle of the season, and he was the number 4 pick in the draft as a rook. He was traded in the middle of the season. Yeah. Rick Pitino gave up on him, completely gave up on him. Now we're talking about Chauncey Billups, maybe a Hall of Famer. So it's just a matter of time for Scoot Henderson to figure it out. And what they did, this is why I wasn't really a fan of moving off of Dame, because they really needed Dame. That's why Malcolm Brogdon is important, because he needs him. Yeah. Basically, what they're doing with him, is they're bringing him to the Olympic-sized pool, and they're bringing him to the deep end, and they're pushing him in. That's what they're doing. Yeah. And you got to figure out how to swim. And he's basically flailing, and he doesn't know how to. The thing that I like about him more than anything is he'll compete. I really dig that about him, Yeah. But the pro game here is so much different than the pro game in the G League. The pro game here is so much different than the pro game in Europe. Yeah. These games are not the same. So Scoot still has to learn how to play pick and pop. He still has to learn how to play defense going under screens, going around screens, where to attack guys, how to attack guys, how to play defense, how to sag off of guys, learning tape. All of this stuff matters when you're becoming a pro, because again, I've said this in the past, when I show up to the NBA, I am not a pro. I have pro potential. It's your job to teach me the pro game. And we're talking like we're in year 3 or 4. Damn, I just got the job. I've only been on the job a week. I'm getting fired already after a week? Yeah. 1 week and one week and y'all want to fire me. I mean, damn, can I learn how to do this before y'all figure out that I'm not good enough to do it? Give me a minute to learn the job first, because it's not at the end of the day, it is basketball on some level, but I still have to learn how to play basketball at this level. And the problem with Scoot is he just doesn't know how to play basketball at this level yet.
Yeah. And I agree with you. I'm not out at all. I think, not only is he trying to learn how this level of play works, but also you're coming into a system where it's like you just lost a star, their franchise star. You're trying to fill the shoes there. You're trying to understand the bright lights and how all of this works. And so, and I mean, Jeremy Grant and Malcolm Brogdon, like those guys are basically those guys are carrying right now because they have to. They're the only vets. And, we got Deandre Ayton, who's out there. Jay, I was watching the highlights again this morning.
Can you handle it, H? Can you handle it, H?
No. I was trying to be positive about DeAndre, and I was like, all right, like this is your chance to kind of prove. And I get it. It's slow. It's a lot more. It's different than playing for a contending team, right? I get it's not the greatest situation, okay? Right. But self-proclaiming yourself as dominating, but you're standing at the rim. You see the ball fall. You're not even going in for a rebound or playing any defense. He just stands there, Jay. That I don't like. Like if I see your effort, and if you ever want to get out of Portland, if you finish your contract and you're like, okay, what's next? This hasn't panned out, or maybe it does. Like, don't you want to prove yourself on a higher level, or at least put the effort in? Especially, I get it for like 40 games into the season, it's so slow, and we're tired, and we're getting into that point in time where it's the games get harder. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be on the road or whatever, but no, we're like 4 games into the season, 5 games into the season.
Right.
I don't understand why you're just standing there. And so that's frustrating to see. I want him to excel, especially importantly. They need him. And
I mean, a couple of nights ago, he did have a 23 rebound game. I mean, he
did.
an
It
11.
was a career.
I think he had 23 rebounds the other night, and
So
last night he had 11 rebounds. And he's always been a rebounder. He's always been a guy who's clean glass.
Yeah.
But he's also been a guy who you have to involve him in the offense.
Yeah.
He's always been that kind of big. He's not one of those bigs that's just gonna be a paint presence. He's not just gonna be one of those bigs that's gonna rim protect. No, excuse me. You got to involve him in the offense, and if you do that, you're gonna get more out of him. The problem that we have in H is that I got a big guy who's got a point guard who doesn't really know what he's doing, and he needs to get him involved. That's the only way he can get involved offensively. Yeah. If he can't get him, if he's got Rondo, I think we're having a different conversation about Ayton right now. Right. If he's got a different point guard, but he's got a guy that's learning on the fly. Meanwhile, I'm trying to figure out, or I'm trying to prove to everybody that I can be a dominant big in this league, but I can't really do it right now because I'm working with a guy who's new. He doesn't suck. No, he doesn't. It's just that we don't know who he is yet. Yeah. And it's kind of on my timeline, so it doesn't look good. Right. He's still
onboarding. He has to kind of get all the facts straight. And I will say, like, is as much as Scoot has struggled, I think he is the assist leader as far as the rookies go. And I did see a couple lobs to Ayton. So like they'll figure out their rhythm and everything, but it's gonna be slow over there.
It is. It is. It definitely is. And I'm not out on Ayton. I'm not out on Ayton. I am from what I've seen over the first couple of games. I'm worried. I am, because I'm thinking Ayton's one of those guys. He's got that kind of motor where if you don't involve him, you'll lose him. Yeah, you will, and that's not good. No. Not good at all.
Mm-mm. No, and it's definitely not all on his head either. Mm-hmm. It's just it's a tricky situation. All right, let's get to a couple of these super chats, and then we'll move on to the LA Lakers. Dropping dimes. James Harden just said in an interview that he didn't come to LA to be a system player because he is the system, and Philly held him back. Thoughts? We did address this a little bit ago, but we can do it.
Yeah. If he's the system, that means that those guys with the Clippers got to play off of him. That's what that means, that they're coming. So we got to inform Kawhi Leonard that the system just walked in the door. We got to inform Paul George that the system just walked in the door, right? We got to let Russell Westbrook know, yo, this is the system right here. This is the guy who we're going to roll with, that this is what our offense is going to look like. Again, H being the Golden State Warriors fan, I know for a fact that you are absolutely loving this, because the implosion is coming. At some point, this thing is going to go off the rails, and this is going to be a disaster. If this is legit, and James Harden actually said that, if he really did say that, my goodness, man.
I mean, it's not something hard to believe coming from Harden, but at the same time, I think Harden, I think he's a troll. Katie is a troll. I think
you get to a point, 100% Katie,
which I think it's funny. But you get to a point in the league, probably at a certain age, where you're like, dude, I'm so tired about people saying this and that. I'm just gonna spew out and just put out information. So you have to take it all, with a grain of salt, I guess.
Yeah.
But Harden, he's built different, man. Angie Carr. So I just say a clip of so you're kind of asking the same thing, Angie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. It's I don't know what to believe, man.
I think it's, again, if you're a Laker fan, if you're a Laker fan, if you're a Boston Celtic fan, if you're a Denver fan, if you're any of these teams fans, you are loving this right now, because this right here, the dissension amongst this team that's going to happen, if this is true, you have to love it. That's the we got singers here, and we got this one dude that's walking in the door going, well, I'm the best singer out of everybody in here anyway. So really? Are you sure about that?
Yet he's never released an album.
Ever. And not only has he never released an album, the 4 groups that he was just with before he got with us flopped.
They kicked him out. Yeah.
Garbage. Flopped. And now he getting on, and now he coming into our group and telling us that, yo, I'm the man around here. Really? Okay. We'll see about that.
Dude. Yeah, it's like the self-proclaimed nickname. It's just, come on. But it could work. It could work. We'll wait it out before we get too crazy with it. Mm-hmm. Leaf. Somebody gonna get strangled tonight. Chill. No BS. Chill.
No, they're not. I don't know what Leaf's issue is. Leaf, yeah, Leaf always has issues. Somebody's gonna get strangled. So
okay, well, we'll get and you guys, if there's a certain team, your team that you guys want us to address, just send us a super chat and we will tackle it for sure. But we are gonna move on to LA. So I gotta say this, some of you guys might be surprised. LeBron's been one of the best players in the league. He has been, Jay. I'm sorry. He has been exceptional. And I watched this game last night where they were able to come back and win the game. And he was playing at such an elite level. It's LeBron James we know and love. AD, that's a whole nother story. He's been playing well. I'm not going to say he hasn't. He's been playing well. But you know what's been interesting to me? In chat, you guys let me know if I'm way off. But they wanted to come into the season putting LeBron on, minutes restriction. And they were hoping that this season he wasn't going to have to carry such a heavy load. They went out, they built this thing even stronger. You've got Austin Reeves coming back. You've got Rui coming back. You got D'Lo, bringing Christian Wood. And yet, for some reason, we've already seen 2 overtimes and another game where they barely slide by with a win. And with an LA team that I think people were putting as, favorites in the West or after Denver, maybe second or third, this is a team that I see struggling. And granted, they've played some very tough teams, so I'm not taking anything away from them. But LeBron isn't going to make it through the season doing what he's doing at this level. I think he can. I think he would. I'm not saying it's anything that he can't do, but I don't think he should have to, nor do I think they're going to be able to win a championship if he's going to have to continue to carry. And so from your perspective, if I'm off, that's totally fine. Just let me know. But what do you think's kind of been the problem? Are we not seeing the bench step up? And do you think LeBron is going to run into some trouble at this age in year 21 playing the amount of minutes at the level he's playing?
Well, first of all, they had 3 guys out of the lineup last night. 3 of their main guys that they had. Vanderbilt was out of the lineup. Rui was out of the lineup.
Right.
Dorian Prince was out of the lineup last night. So they had a number of different guys out of the lineup last night. Number 2, what we're seeing from James, I want to say that it's an anomaly, but we're talking about him carrying. Like Anthony Davis isn't 29 and 16. Like we're talking about, we talking about James carrying. Like Anthony Davis is not at the top of the league in rebounding and blocks. Like James is having to do all the work. When in reality, no, he is not.
But at what point in the game? Why are they down 20 and LeBron's the one who has to come in and kickstart them into winning these games?
And even if that's true, but that isn't that part of it. Isn't that part of it? At some point, somebody's got to get us going. If you remember last year when you guys played against the Lakers, when Lonnie Walker comes off the bench, 100%. Somebody's got to get it going at some point. And once somebody gets it going, okay, then that's the rest of us getting it going.
Monk did that.
Right.
Yeah, there's always that guy.
Somebody gets it going, and then the rest of us get it going. Because after James got going, Anthony Davis got going even more. And then now he's rim protecting more. Guys like Jackson Hayes are coming off the bench. Austin Reeves, money in the mid-range. I'm loving everything about him in the mid-range, being able to knock down open shots. With all of that being said, I'm on this hill, and I'm not sure I can die on it when I say that. I can't keep using the excuse, that he's 38 and that he's getting old. I can't keep using that. I know that at some point he's going to break down. And I don't like the fact that he had to play 44 minutes last night.
Right.
I don't love that.
No.
But I also feel like James is just different than everybody else. Like he's not the conventional 38-year-old. No. He's different. I'm watching Austin Reeves not throw him a lob to the rim like this. He's just like, go get it. And he goes and gets it, where he's looking at the rim like this. At 38 years old, he's doing that. Yeah. So I have to accept the fact that this isn't just your conventional 38-year-old who's slowing down. Now, I will tell you this, throughout the course of this season, he's going to break down. And what I mean when I say break down, I don't think it's something detrimental. Yeah, but I think that there's something where we have to be, and Darvin Ham was trying to do this, where we have to be very careful with his minutes.
Right.
We have to be very careful with his minutes, and we got to monitor how fast and how much we're using him because we don't want to overuse him.
But then you lose games. That's the problem. And I mean, they've already gone over his minutes. Like game 1, I think they kind of held to it, and then every other game since then, LeBron's playing more because it's LeBron. Like it's LeBron James, and I don't know what like NBA age he's playing at, maybe like 30, 35 or something. Like LeBron is an anomaly, and we have to like.
He is.
I'm harsh on like the Lakers themselves, but like LeBron has just been, he's so exciting to watch and just he brings new energy. But I guess I worry if they get to a point where maybe that 2-week or month injury comes, which it will. It'll probably come for, KD stuff, all of them. Hopefully not, but
hopefully not.
I guess I'm just looking at which of these guys are going to rise to that occasion and take that leap. And you're talking about Austin Reeves. In my opinion, he hasn't looked like we expected him to look. Maybe it's just taking him time. He hasn't been great. AD's been great. LeBron's been great. But everybody else will come, and they're still new. A lot of, Gabe Vincent, D'Lo. I think D'Lo had a good game last night. And
yes, he was really good. He was really good last night. Yes,
after
he was.
People were talking about him,
now,
so yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and I want you to finish what you're saying, H. I want you to finish what you're saying, but when you got a guy like Anthony Davis, I think the demand on him, like what I've seen from him, his ability to score, his ability to rebound, I think the demand on him should be in different spaces. I know I don't have to ask him to rebound. No. He's going to do that. I don't have to ask him to rim protect. He's going to do that. But when we get into the meat and potatoes of the game, like we did last night, where the Clippers have Bones Highland, Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and who's the fifth guy? And Norman Powell on the floor, and Anthony Davis is in the dunker spot. That's the problem.
Okay, no. Talk to me about Darvin Ham. I'm seeing Seven asked me this when we joined for a little collab on the Lakerland show, but what do you think of Darvin Ham? Does he know how to use these guys right? I mean, he's a coach. I respect him so much. Not that I would know any better, but do you think there's things maybe he's struggling with in these lineups?
Well, I think one of the main things that we have to remember with coaches is you're only as good as your staff. And I think that with Darvin Ham, I don't think that he trusts his staff enough because
can't they get like the best coaching?
Well, we know for a fact James is coming out of the game. No matter how good James is playing, he's coming out of the game in the first quarter with 5.5 minutes on the clock.
Right.
He's coming out of the game. Yeah. He's going back in the game with about 7 minutes on the clock in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis is coming off the floor with 2 minutes left in the first.
Yep.
And then he's going back in the game. I'm sorry, he's coming out of the game with about 6 minutes in the second quarter, and then he's going back in the game with 2 minutes. Yep. This is no, regardless of whatever the scene of the game is. This is Darvin Ham's rotations. This is what he's doing. With that being said, you have to adjust to the game. That's where your assistants come in, and that's where you have to trust them. I understand that you, as a coach, you have the final say so. You do have the final say so. But when a coach tells you, yo, let's stick with this group, and it's working, you got to trust your coaching staff. There's a reason why Phil Jackson was as good as he was, because X and O's was Tex winners. He trusted Tex winners with the X and O's. With him trusting Tex winners with the X and O's, it worked. He trusted his other guys with the rotations. Stick with this group, right? You stick with this group, and we're going to keep rolling. When you do that, you become a better coaching staff, as opposed to it's just going to be my way, do it my way, do it my way. These guys are bringing they're bringing good intel to him. It's just a matter of him implementing it. And when I see Anthony Davis with that 5 on the floor and James shooting threes, when Anthony Davis in the dunker spot, why is Anthony Davis in the dunker spot? We're 4 minutes. That game shouldn't have gone into overtime. No, it should not have gone into overtime. Great. Anthony Davis, the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, we should not shoot a shot till he touches it in the post. That's how they beat Houston in the bubble in 2020. That small lineup that they had where Frank Vogel was going to Anthony Davis and the play had PJ Tucker on him. I'm in the mid post and I'm in the post. That's where I'm going. That's where we're going to be for the end of the night. Yeah. That's where it's going to be. This is who's going to close our game tonight. And what happens when you do that, H, is that develops confidence. That develops not just confidence from Anthony Davis. It develops confidence from the rest of the crew. That's where we're going. Yeah. That's where we're going. End it. James got us this far. Big fella, end it. And that's what you're looking for when you got a guy like Anthony Davis, who's that talented, right? He should not be in the dunker spot. We should be going to him more in the meat and potatoes of the games and to end games and make him do that, H. This is not a situation where, well, we're not sure if he can carry. Make him do it. If he fails, get up. Make him do it again. Prime example, you and I were talking about Jason Tatum. When Jason Tatum was in the NBA Finals and he's putting his head down after he can't get past Andrew Wiggins. Yeah. Young fella, pick your head up. We're not going to stop coming to you. Just so you know, we're going to keep coming to you. So you got to get with the program. Same logic with Anthony Davis. Big fella, if you turn the basketball over, so what? If you miss a shot, so what? We're going to keep coming to you, especially in the meat and potatoes of games.
But that's not something that you can coach. I mean, you can keep referring to, but that's something that comes from internally, right? That's something that you have to do yourself, and that's all about mindset and mentality. But at least having some consistency as far as like knowing that that's what he's going to do day in and day out. Maybe that's something that needs to be communicated to him. I don't know, but the Lakers, I'm just going to say this. LeBron is on his A game. He's playing great. I have no worries about what he's going to bring to the table ever. So I want to give him like that respect for sure. But I do worry about this Laker team. I'm just not going to say as far as chemistry goes and these lineups and maybe even Darvin Ham, I don't know. I've got some questions. So we shall see on that end. We've got a super chat from Jerome Henderson. Oops. I'm not a fan of either team, but I think the Clippers should have took the Nets idea and jumped ship while they could. Clips have no first until 2030.
Which means this thing has to work. It has to.
But the thing is, like you already said, Jay, half these guys are probably gone after next year, right?
I don't think
bringing Kawhi back. You're not bringing Paul George back. Maybe
I don't think Leonard is in the league in 2 years because I don't think his body's going to hold up.
Right.
Paul George, I don't think he's a shell of himself. Paul George still has. Yeah, he still has the good. I mean, he still has the good. Which, by the way, nobody talks about the fact that he didn't get going until AD went out of the game. Because when AD was covering him, he actually did a really good job on him. Yeah. When AD went out of the game, right? When AD went out of the game, then Paul George got going. And once he gets going, there's really not much that you can do about that, right?
No.
There's really not much that you can do about that. And then it just is what it is. But Leonard, I don't think Leonard's going to be around in 2 years. You heard him, H, when he told us that there is no mandate that's going to make me play the amount of games that's necessary to play. And the reason why is because
he knows his body. He knows, right. Like there's nothing, you can't defeat, nature. Like that's just what his body is capable of doing. Nothing you can do about it.
Right.
So, I mean, I respect it. And like I said, man, these guys can hoop. Seeing PG out there, seeing Kawhi, like it. Oh man, it feels good. But it's like, are we gonna get 20 games into the season and then it's just gonna be Russ and Harden out there? Right. Like, what is that gonna? I don't know. We'll see. Oh man,
this is their third stint too, by the way. H. I mean, the first time they were together, this was in Oklahoma City, and then we get them in Houston, where they're way further down the line. They're stars in their own right, and then now. We're on the other side of it. I mean, how many more years? Russ is 35. How many more years is Russ going to be around? I don't think Russ is going to be around in 3 or 4 more years. Russ's game is predicated on athleticism and flight. And when Russ can't run as fast as he used to and he can't hop as much as he used to, it's not going to be the same, right? So this thing with the Clippers have right now, they've pushed all their chips to the front of the table.
I mean, I respect it in a way. It's like one Hail Mary. It's like one last Hail Mary to see if we can, especially like you got to have something for this new arena that's opening up, I guess, just go all in. But man, like you're pushing all your chips forward and hoping that this thing works out. So we'll see. John, thank you for the super chat. Kawhi was trash in second half. PG-13 kept him alive. I mean,
that's just not true. No, he wasn't.
Trash is crazy.
No, he was not. He was not trash in the second half. I don't know where you're getting that from.
PG was scoring for sure. Right. Like he was outscoring him. But
Leonard was not trash in the second half. No, he wasn't. That is just not true at all. No, he wasn't in the second half and in the overtime. No, he wasn't. He was not trash. He wasn't as good in the fourth, but he did pick it up in the overtime. I think that a lot of people what they completely leave out is if you're not making threes, then you suck. Well, wait a minute. That's not just Kawhi Leonard's game. He does a whole bunch of other things. except shoot the long ball. And a lot of people that I listen to say the same thing, that, yo, you suck if you're not making threes. Like, everybody that, if you're not making threes, they suck. That's not what basketball is. Basketball is way more than just shooting a long ball. Way more than that.
We're just addicted to 3-point shooters. But like I always say, I love anyone who can play defense. Like, whew, that's a beautiful thing. Aramis, what's good? Ingram out again. Yes, went from sore knee to knee tendonitis. Zion is out for the rest. But at least we have made a 22-point comeback against OKC last night. And at this point, us Pels fans are just tired of this rest finish.
Of course. Yes. Of course you are, Aramis. And I understand that. I absolutely understand that. I understand that they're trying to preserve Zion. But I've always felt like the mentality, if you think you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. So if I'm playing like that, more than likely I'm going to get hurt. There's no reason for Zion to not be playing. No reason for him not to be playing. We're 5 games into the season. Why is this dude not on the floor? I understand the notion of tendonitis. I understand the notion of knick-knack injuries. Tendonitis, tendonitis is basically like, not arthritis, but it's an inflammation of your joints. Yes. That's basically what it is. And if you need to rest, that's what off days are for. But if I'm able to run ice, ibuprofens, things like that, if it's not something that's structurally damaging and it's not going to get worse, why am I sitting? Why am I not at work? I stand by the logic. You can't come to work only when you feel like it. That's not the way things work. No.
I agree with you 100%. It's like, okay, like that's a real thing. I get it. I have had friends who've had it pretty badly, so I understand. But at the same time, isn't it true that the more you rest, the more likely you are to get injured? Isn't that just common sense? So like, BI's been on. I'm done, dude. Like I've stood up for him so many times, and I'm just at a point, Aramis, where I'm just like, I can't do it anymore. And I don't know if this is coming directly from players. Like when we had Daz on, he was kind of like sharing a little bit about how like this is how the Pels operate a bit, and they like to keep their players out for much longer periods of time. But it's like, dude, you guys have to make something work here, because then you just got Zion back and you're gonna put more pressure on him. Like, why can't we just see a fully healthy Pels team? That's all I want to see. Alvarado, BI, CJ, because when you have all the pieces there, you guys have a real shot at doing something big. But until you do that, I just don't want to see it.
I don't want to
see it. I'm over it. Bob, thanks for the super chat.
Yep.
That Paul George trade in 2019 might go down as one of the worst if Clippers don't win. Clips gave up SGA, Jalen Williams, Trey Mann. It was a big risk.
It's kind of like what happened with Brooklyn when they gave up when they ended up giving up all those first round picks for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Jason Terry, and they ended up those first round picks ended up being Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. I know that's nasty, but hey,
yeah, it's something you gotta live with. I mean, the thing is, like, we can always look back and say that now, but when you're in that position, when you're in crunch time, when you're trying to make these decisions, you never know. Things are risky for sure.
Yeah.
But so valid. Aramis, we just see LeBron in year stretches, and he's still playing as much as he actually can win, and sometimes even when injured. Zion and BR are just frustrating. We just want them to love the game the way we love our game, and 100%. Like, you're seeing LeBron James out here pushing through probably crazy soreness. Like, the older you get, the more pain you feel, back pain, but you gotta push through it, especially for your fan base. Like, fans are gonna start just dipping out.
Here's the thing, H. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to have anything that's gonna ultimately make your injuries debilitating. I don't want to do that, where at some point you can't walk. But if you have things that are manageable, if you have things that, like knick-knack injuries where y'all got a sore foot, that's not going to get worse, right? I got a sore back, that's not going to get worse, right? I got a sore elbow that I can just ice. I got my hand hurts, or I got a headache, stuff like that. Stuff that's not going to get worse, where there aren't any broken bones, there aren't any torn ligaments, and these things aren't going to get worse. I'm not saying that you owe it to the fans. I want to take that off the table for a second. I'm not saying that you owe it to the fans. What you do, though, is you owe it to you. You owe it to you to go out there. You owe it to you. If you can, I'm not telling you to go if you can't go. I'm not telling you to do that. But what I am saying, though, is if you can go, why are you not going? What's the problem? Why aren't you playing? I can't just show up to work when I feel good. I can't just show up to work when I feel like showing up to work. No, I can't do that. I have to show up to work when I got a headache. I got to show up to work when my back is hurting. I got to show up to work when I don't feel like being here. I got to do that because that's me. That's part of the job. And when you, I'm not, and again, H, I want to be clear. I'm not saying I'm not pocket watching. I'm not in any, you make all this money. I don't care about that. The reason why I don't care about that is because I can't put a price tag on how your body feels. But if you are good, you feel good enough to go. If it's something that's manageable, you should be at work. There's no reason for you not to be at work.
Yeah. No, I agree. Jay, I'm gonna read this and then give me 1 second. Mellow.
Yep.
DeMar DeRozan passed Larry Bird last night. Might end up top 25 in scoring. Don't need a 3-point shot to score points like that either.
Just so you know, H, at the end of this season, he's going to pass Clyde Drexler. And he's not only is he going to pass Clyde Drexler, I think that Havlicek, Jerry West, Jordan, in terms of guards, Bryant, I think those are the only guards that are going to be ahead of him in terms of scoring. So when we're talking about a guy in terms of getting buckets, being a scorer like that, it's hard. I think by the end of his career, he's going to be over 25,000 points by the end of his career. The question is DeMar DeRozan a Hall of Famer? Well, here's the problem that we have in H. And you know me, H. You know how serious I take being an All-Pro. Excuse me, and I take being an All-Pro very seriously. And with DeMar DeRozan only being a 3-time All-Pro in 15 years. Man, 15 years, you only made the All-Pro team 3 times? That's it? That's not elite, H. That's once every 5 years. Right? That's once every 5 years you've been an All-Pro. Now, I think that you are or were elite for your time, but I think that the Basketball Hall of Fame needs to be changed to the Pro Basketball Hall. Or I take that back. I think the Basketball Hall of Fame needs to be separated from the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame because basketball is the only sport that doesn't have a professional Hall of Fame. There's a Pro Baseball Hall of Fame, there's a Pro Football Hall of Fame, and there's a Pro Hockey Hall of Fame. There is not a Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, and I don't know why.
Yeah, I agree. There's different tiers, and yeah, I mean, it's still obviously a massive accomplishment, but yeah, we gotta put it into perspective as well. John hit us with another super chat. Can we agree? Claw 1, PG 2, James Harden 3, Russ 4 option. Okay, so we got Kawhi, PG, Harden, Russ. Dang, I just feel like that's mad disrespectful. I guess you could say, like, for me, over just in general, sure, but on this unit, who's to say James Harden's gonna fit in any better? Like, I feel like Russ has been playing his role exceptionally well. Obviously, the turnovers have been, but that's just who he is. That's part of his game. Like, do you think James Harden is gonna come in and make this team better, like far better?
Depending on how they use him, H. If you put him at the 2, you keep Russ at the 1, put him at the 2. Put Leonard at the 3, put Paul George at the 4, Zubac at the 5, and then you can mix up your lineups as you go. But start with that. I don't hate it. I don't, because I've seen James Harden play the 2-guard spot. Even though the last decade or so, he's played with the basketball. The last decade or so, he's played majority of the time he's played with the ball. So because of that, it's gonna be an adjustment. It's gonna be an adjustment. And to give Russ those kind of weapons, it's like a quarterback, H. That's now you got this wide receiver, and you got that wide receiver, and you got this tight end. And the question is can Russ take care of the football? Can Russ do that? That's the $1 million question. If you put Russ in that kind of position.
I guess that's fair. We'll have to see. This comment made me laugh. He He said we can have people like Jaylen Brown making it into the Hall of Fame. That's
actually you can, and you will. Watch.
We already have lots of Jaylen Browns in the Hall of Fame, don't we? Okay, Jay. Well, this is a selfish topic, but I want to get your take on it. I feel like my Warriors have played the Kings like 100 times already this season. But we had a game last night. We were able to, obviously, with like 0.2 seconds on the clock, Clay was able to take a great shot. He didn't force up a three. He took up a beautiful mid-range shot, knocked it down, won the game. With this Chris Paul experiment that everybody has been so, on off about, including myself. Especially myself. It seems to be working, Jay. Like, the Warriors look fantastic. Draymond came out last night. People are picking this apart, but he basically said, our chemistry this year is incredible. Guys are actually excited to come to work, show up, and be together versus last year. So, yeah, I guess from what you've seen from Golden State, what have you thought about them? Same with the Kings. We can kind of talk about them in tandem since they've played each other so many times. But thoughts on both of those teams so far?
Well, the thing that is intriguing about Chris Paul is him getting on a crew that's already established. So you being the Mufasa of the crews that you were already on, you don't have to do that here.
Yeah.
All you have to do is play a specific role. And what Chris Paul does with the Golden State Warriors, he gives them a dynamic that they didn't have in the past, which is another distributor, right? And another pace guy where he can speed them up, slow them down. He also gives you guys another floor spacer, a guy who can open up the offense. The difference now is that I think that you might have gotten him a year or two too late, because I don't know how much longer he's going to hold up. Yeah. Now, maybe the Warriors, because they have so much, who I'm not going to count out, maybe they can preserve him, right? Maybe they can preserve him, and maybe they can make it so where he doesn't break down. Because as long as Clay is on the floor, as long as Steph is on the floor, as long as Dre is on the floor, Wiggins, guys like Looney, they keep other guys fresh, like Chris Paul, where we give you an opportunity to just be you and not have to do too much, because you got these guys, right? You got these guys that do what they do. And a guy like Klay Thompson, who still shooting the basketball with the best of them this season, still knocking down the long ball with the best of them. We already know who Steph Curry is at 35 years old. I still think that Steph got another year, 2 more years at this level before he starts to slow down. He's still fantastic. With Chris Paul in the mix and him giving you that dynamic of a guy who can speed the game up and slow the game down for you guys and give you the floor leader, I think that in terms of matchups, if you guys can avoid certain teams, like the Lakers, for example, I think you got just as good a shot in the Western Conference as anybody else. As far as Sacramento, I understand, that you could get sick of seeing somebody. I mean, I think your last 17 games, you played the Kings 12 times. 12 or 13, something like that, like 12 or 13 times.
I love them. I do. They're a special team. They're kind of like a younger mirror image of the Warriors. Like, they get each other. They're very similar.
Right.
But no, I agree with you. Like, the way Steve Kerr, has his rotations. Yes, he keeps players fresh. But it's so funny. Like, I just wonder what goes on in Chris's head. Sometimes I see him go to the bench after playing, 5 minutes or something. And I just see him watching like Steph. And I wonder what it's like to be on that side, like just peering in, but like you're on the team watching this greatness, somebody that you've competed against for so long, and just getting to watch it in action. And I just have to say, I think he's fit in seamlessly. He's been fantastic, and he's just seemed so positive and no complaints. He came off the bench and there was not an issue with that. And so, yeah, it's just a matter of holding up. But overall, though, like what Draymond said, like the chemistry has been fantastic all the way from Steph, Chris Paul, Draymond, all the way down to, our newest rookie. They've all been so fantastic. So
if I can really quickly, this guy in the comments, Benny Blanco, I don't mean get Chris Paul 2 years ago. I'm talking about the 2 years ago Chris Paul, getting him on your crew now. That's what I mean. Pay attention, please. I'm not meaning 2 years ago when they won the NBA championship. No, I'm talking about the 2 years too late. Like that guy 2 years ago who had just come off from being in the NBA finals. If you could have gotten that guy, that's something different. So how about you pay attention instead of being a troll? How about that?
Yeah, I don't know. And our man Seven's in the chat. I will read this really quick. Hey, Lino G, how did Harden get his way and Lillard didn't? Can y'all break that down?
Okay, first and foremost, understand that when these guys ask to be traded, it has to work out not just for them.
Yeah.
H, you can't just say in Portland, yo, I want to go play for the New Orleans Pelicans. Mm-hmm. And Portland goes, all right, we sending you to New Orleans. Well, wait a minute. It has to work for us in order for us to send you there. So when Dame comes out and says that I want to be traded, but I only want to play for the Miami Heat, does that work for the Portland Trail Blazers? Not when the Miami Heat is sending back a bucket of extra crispy and a 6-pack. No, we're not doing that. And on top of that, on top of that, right? On top of that, with the Clippers being who they are, and the Clippers giving up what they gave up, draft picks, players, it worked out for both parties. It wasn't like they just handed him over. And is James Harden worth more than what what Philadelphia was going to sign him to? Like, let's just say for the sake of argument, they get to the Eastern Conference Finals and they end up signing James Harden to a 4-year deal for 160. How you feel about James Harden on your books at 38 years old at $40 million? How you liking that?
Fluent in the house.
Stuck in the grind. I am the damn grind.
Welcome back.
Andrew G, you are not on my helmet, my man. In fact, you're not on my level. Yeah, you're not on my helmet. You're not on my level. You're not on anything. Nobody around. The only reason why anybody pays attention to you because you're a troll and I shout you out. That's it. Don't nobody care about you, B. And you already came in here and I roasted you. I don't know if you remember that. You came in here and I destroyed you. So you're not on my helmet. No, you are not. You're never on my helmet. So you can laugh all you want. I think we're done here.
We're done here. Fluent.
What are we talking about?
Are we talking about
Harden?
H asked the question of how did James Harden end up getting what he wanted, but Dame didn't get what he wanted? And I was basically saying that when you get traded, smart GMs, it's got to work out for everybody. It's not just something that's just going to work out for you. So the reason why Kevin Durant was traded to Phoenix is because this deal worked for Brooklyn too. If Minnesota if they called up Minnesota and Minnesota gave them a better package, Kevin Durant would have been in Minnesota. If Portland called and they gave them a better package, Kevin Durant would have been in Portland. But it just so happened that he asked to go to Phoenix. Phoenix gave them the package that they wanted. If they didn't, Kevin Durant would not have been in Phoenix. No.
But we're talking about specifically James Harden, though, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, why does he continue to get what he wants versus Damian Lillard?
Well, let's talk about this one in particular. So this one in particular, right? Because I told you, after this contract, he's out of the league.
You think he's over, Tone?
No one is signing James Harden because he hasn't been there half a day, and he's already talking about beef with his teammates. Yeah, he came out now and said, "Well, let me explain." No, that's your PR guy telling you to fix it. So the only reason he made it to the Buffalo Braves, okay? Yes, I was Amish for Halloween. Okay, it's coming back in. Okay. Anyways, let's get that out of the way. So James Harden is there because Philly wanted to trade him, and Buffalo wanted him. Not only was it Buffalo that wanted him, they're the only team that wanted him. So they were competing against no one. Philadelphia, Daryl Morey said, "Hey, listen, I'll keep him. I'll just let him sit on the sideline doing nothing unless we come to an agreement that's fair." The difference between that and Dame is that Miami wanted him, but they wanted him at their price. Mm-hmm. Portland wanted to trade him, but they wanted to trade him at their price. Right. And those two sides were just like, we're not helping anybody out. Whereas in this particular case, the Clippers said, hey, we got some. The Clippers were always very deep, right? That was almost the issue with the, I called them by the wrong name. My bad. That's the issue with the Braves, is that they were a deep team whose two superstars weren't ever, healthy together long enough to create a cohesive unit. So they had pieces, but they knew, like when you look at that roster, you knew there's too many mouths to feed. We got to thin it out. And that's what they did. So that's why I think that trade happened versus the Dame deal not being able to happen. It's because the two sides were both reasonable and they both wanted what the other one was offering. Let's be clear. Philadelphia is not done. They wanted those specific assets because they wanted the draft picks, they wanted the cap space, and they wanted a couple of those players because they're going to make a move. They're like, okay, we're okay with Maxey. Man, Maxey should play the Raptors, by the way, every single night. He destroys that. For seasons. Anytime he sees the Raptors, his eyes light up and he goes for 30 plus. But we're happy with Maxey. We're happy with Embiid, right? Now, who's that other piece that we need? We now have the assets to go out and get it. Because you know what's going to happen. There's going to be a team, right, that underachieves expectations and come trade deadline. Fine, okay, let's make a move. And they're going to be ready to pounce on that. So don't be surprised if Morey's already not making calls and seeing, hey, who aren't you happy with, right? Like, is it a Siakam? Is it a Halliburton? There's going to be one of those teams that just Washington. Everybody on Washington is probably saying, hey, if Poole's just going to shoot 50 times,
let me out.
Imagine if Poole's in Taiwan and after his contract.
Let me out of here.
I do like him throwing off the backboard alley-oop to Kuzma when they're down by like 20 something points.
So
get closed on after that. Get closed on. Tone, if the Portland Trailblazers, if Miami gives Portland what they want, Dame is in Miami. No questions asked. If they give Miami, if Miami gives Portland what they want, he's there. That's why that's why when you can ask to be traded somewhere. Sure. But it has to work out. Sure. We'll accommodate you if it works for us. Absolutely.
I just hate that it's hard. I just hate that, like, for example, like Kyrie, I don't think Dallas was his dream destination. He would have rather gone to LA or something. It's frustrating because Harden is somebody that continues to force his way out of these things and continues to get his way. And it's just like,
understand that the Philadelphia situation was a little bit different. Number one, I don't think he ever wanted to go to Brooklyn. I want to start there. I think he got talked into the whole Brooklyn thing.
Yeah,
I don't think he ever wanted to go to
No, we're not letting him off though, Jay.
No, but I don't think Brooklyn. Yeah, I don't think Brooklyn was his destination of choice. And
I don't think he wanted to go there.
And let's be honest, I don't even think Philadelphia was his destination of choice. It was Morey who said, "Hey, this is where we are in your career. Because don't forget, that's why he called him a liar. That's why he called him a liar. Yeah, that's why he called him a liar because he said, come to Philly." Come on this, team-friendly deal. Then I'm going to take care of you. You're my guy. You see how I treated you in Houston. We got a problem in Ben Simmons, and you don't want to be in Brooklyn. It's a win-win. Both, it'll work. So come over here. Well, once he got there, he did what he always does, and then they were like, "We're not paying you to do that." Right. And that's where the whole liar thing came in, and that's when he wanted out. And then the Clipper thing. Okay, the Clipper thing, he did get what he wanted, but like I said, did you hear any other team saying we'd be interested? Like, even did you hear a fan base saying, yeah, we want Harden? No, that's why I don't think he's in the league much longer, is because other than the Braves, I don't think anybody wants him.
Yeah. So we didn't actually talk about kind of this aspect, but really quick, Fluent, did you hear Harden come out and say, I'm not a system player, I am the system? So we kind of tackled that already. And pretty much.
I really before you even get into this, Tone, all I'm going to say is I really hope he didn't say that.
Oh, yeah, I believe he did, and it's a bold-faced lie because the only reason he is where he is because he was in the Mike D'Antoni system that allowed him to play 7-second offense, jack a three, or go dunk. That's or layup, I guess. In his case, he doesn't dunk. Oh no, he dunks.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he does. And that's what inflated his stats. That's what inflated Steve Nash. That's what inflated, no, I'm not saying they're bad players. I'm just saying statistically, they got a boost playing in that type of offense. And just for the record, sorry, I need to address Benny Blanco over here. Blanco, I guess blank is the amount of knowledge. I said that passing is a skill that can be improved on by practice, and it can be learned. Jokic has a combination of naturally gifted ability plus what is going on in your house. There's like ghosts back there. I see something.
Relax, I got the windows open. It's nice out. It's not 90. It's not 90 degrees anymore. Like I got the windows open, right? It's nice out. Like I got a breeze going on, so I got the windows open, so I'm good. So that's what it is. That's definitely what it is. Anyway, like you were saying.
So he's not the system. He is literally the definition of a system, right? It's I play in this system, and that's why I was so successful. It was a perfect match. Don't get me wrong. The way he plays, his skill set, and that system were a perfect match. Let's not confuse that.
H, do me a favor. Get Benny Blanco out of here, yo. Get him out of here, man. I'm good on these people, man. I am. I just am, bro.
So we can
I am. I'm good on these people, man. They so corny. They won't, when we invite them up, they don't come up here. But then they'll just sit in the chat and say stupid stuff like this all night. They'll just say stuff like this. You got two choices. You got two choices. Either come up here, or beat it. That's it. Because what you're not going to do is you're not just going to stand in the crowd and scream all night. That's not going to happen.
Benny Blanco,
either come up here.
People listen to what they want to. People listen to what they
skills are goofy.
Benny Blanco, I am putting the link in the chat only for you. You're welcome to come up and share.
Please.
He said he's gone. He said he's gone. Don't worry. He said
either come up here or bounce. That's it.
Yeah, come on up.
Right. Do not stand in the crowd and just run your mouth and you suck. And no, that's goofy. I'm not interested in that. No.
Yeah, don't let it get to you.
I don't. I don't. I think it's so cowardly to just sit in the crowd and just you suck. And come on, man.
Bots. That's their NPC.
I know what hecklers are, and I got no problem with hecklers, right? I got no problem with hecklers, but it's kind of corny that you would sit in the crowd and do that. But then when you're actually challenged to actually make your point, why do I suck? And actually brought in front of the congregation to tell everybody you straight bounce. You dip into the crowd like you the dude in the back of the cafeteria throwing milk cartons and telling jokes. But when you actually come to the front,
we're gonna bring him up.
Yeah, come on up here, Mr. Benny Blanco.
Benny, you gotta have your camera on though, because we don't want to have any.
Bring Mr. Benny Blanco up here
if you can. Try to get that camera on, but then we'll have you come up.
Bring Benny Blanco up here.
Okay.
Nobody. Hey, thank you for safe travels. Nothing. Nobody.
I think he's gonna go get his camera fixed. But real quick, I'll read these super chats.
Let's do some super duper chats.
H, who was your favorite player growing up and now? I mean,
isn't that the same thing?
Now, Steph, and it's kind of always
Tone.
Steph was a rookie when he was born, no?
That's so mean. But LeBron for sure. I mean, LeBron's like my all-time favorite player. Even though I do criticize him, people don't think I'm a real LeBron fan. He is my GOAT. I just think that we still have to criticize. But like Steph is the player I'm most loyal to for sure. And Dame, I went to more Blazer games than any other.
This is my favorite player right here.
Okay. Wow. I'm surprised it's not Kobe.
H, you know why he got that?
Why?
Because Fluent Jr. gave it to him. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not because that's his act. Yeah, that's because Fluent Jr. Fluent Jr. gave it to him. It has not for no other reason. Yeah, Fluent Jr. gave it to him. Give me a break.
Rolo 555. Clippers always been cursed since Buffalo days.
I wonder why. I wonder what the problem is with the Clippers. Because the Clippers at the end of the day are gonna clip. That's just who they are. And what I want to do, Tone. I said this to H. Tone, what happens if this thing actually works?
It won't.
It won't.
It won't.
What happens if it does, Tone?
Didn't you major in history?
I did. Yes, I did.
And what is something that you learn historically? History repeats itself.
That's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
It's gonna work.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah. Yeah,
the more things change, the more they stay the same.
And it's sad that it's not going to work because you have guys like Kawhi Leonard, who's a great player, but just, hey, bad knees, and he's just, there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing that you can do about it. So,
sadly, Tank, hit us with can we mention the in-season tournament, which can you guys kind of explain? Like, I saw the courts come out and I'm hearing all this hype. What the heck is this about? And our players, we're already low managing people. 3 days into the season. What are we supposed to do?
I was actually going to ask Tone to explain the in-season tournament to me because I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't know how it. I really don't know how it works, man. I'm trying to
look it up.
I'm trying to make sense of how this whole thing. Right. I'm trying to figure out how this whole thing works, man. And I know that I think the last like 4 teams go to Vegas to play for the cup.
So all the teams, yeah, they've been put into divisions.
Right.
There's going to be certain regular season games that count as tournament games.
Mm-hmm.
And so those games, primetime games, whatever they are, and you can pull up which games they are. I think it starts soon, tomorrow. I think the first game is, if memory serves me correct, something soon. And those guys play, and as they play in their tournament, I believe they get seeded, and then there's elimination games. So that's kind of like the round 2. So let's say there's 8 teams, however many, 16 teams.
Mm-hmm.
They'll play a regular season game that counts toward the tournament. They'll all be eliminated like a tournament style, like one game and you're out. And then the final 4 will play an additional possible 1 or 2 games in Vegas. And I say 1 or 2 because they'll be seeded 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3.
Right.
The winner of 1 and 4 goes on to the final. 1 and 4. The winner goes to the final. The loser's out.
Right.
And then the winner of 2 and 3 plays the winner of 1 and 4
mm-hmm.
for the tournament championship. So there's 2 teams that'll play 84 games. 2 teams that'll play 83 games, and the rest of the league plays 82 games.
Mm-hmm.
So are these games is every game for the tournament played in Vegas, or are these just like matchups that are counting as tournament games?
They're just regular season games that count as tournament games, and then with the exception of the 1 or 2 games you play in Vegas, those are kind of outside of the regular season.
So that's I kind of like that. If their game's already playing, it gives them a little bit of incentive to.
Listen, everything they're doing, the 65 game minimum to win awards, this in-season tournament, it was in a hope to get them to play more games. But what you're seeing is, I'm injured. My elbow hurts. Sorry, I missed a couple. Like, they're finding ways around it. This is why I've always said, if you really want them to play, and look, I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying this is the only way. You get you get paid for every game you play. That's it. You get paid for every game you play. Now, if you're legitimately hurt, no problem.
Right.
With a doctor from your team and a doctor from the NBA or a third party, if you're hurt, you get 50% of your salary when you're hurt. That's it.
I just have a difficult time when you can.
If you look at it, Dame as an example, I'm not saying he's a load manager, but I'm just saying Dame is on the books for what, 50 million?
40, I think it's 47 this year.
47, okay.
47 this year, 52 next year, 57, and then 60.
47 divided by 82 is 573,000 and change. So you think he's going to give up $600,000 because he needs to rest? Or will he play? Like, if he really wants to rest, he's going to think about it. Is sleeping tonight worth $600,000?
Yes.
Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. And if it is, no problem. Go sleep. Go sleep. It's like the Chris Rock thing where he goes, I don't care. Give everybody a gun. Just make bullets $10,000. And even I don't know.
They'll be real. They'll be real careful about who they shooting.
Be very careful about who they. Right, so that's how I feel they should do the NBA to get people. To
be real careful about who they shooting. No doubt.
That should be fun. I like the concept. We'll see how it plays out though. Mm-hmm. Low key 870 Fluent. Where's the Braves floor after the trade?
I love it. The Braves. I love it. It's catching. The floor is a play-in tournament because he could go in and completely destroy everything. Right? Just think about it. Harden goes in. Him and Westbrook, they're chummy now, but you know how petty Westbrook is. Like, he stood on the baseline when the Lakers and the Braves were shaking hands to start that game last night or the night before, and he wouldn't even shake hands. He stood at the baseline by himself, and then once they finished all their handshakes, did you guys not see this? Mm-hmm. Then he came up for the opening tip. Westbrook didn't even go shake the hands of the Lakers players. Everybody was clapping up. He stood away.
I did not see that.
Hold on really quick, you guys. Leaf is in here, so I'm going to let him come for 5 minutes, Leaf, and then we're...
No, let me finish my thought. Leave the hell out of here.
Yeah.
for 2 weeks. You want to put on late? No offense, Leaf, but I haven't been here for 2 weeks. Let me get my this 1 point off.
I didn't see that, Tom. I did not see it.
So we know Westbrook's petty, and Westbrook said, "I love that I'm here because they let me play my position, which is point guard." So if him and Harden are like, "No, I'm the point guard," and then Kawhi gets hurt, and he's not there. So now you just got Westbrook and Harden fighting over the ball with Kawhi sitting in street clothes.
Yeah,
they could be horrible. Now, that's because he's asking, "What's the floor?" That's the floor. The ceiling's super high though too, but that's the floor.
The ceiling is the NBA championship.
Now, sir.
The ceiling is the NBA championship, I think.
Is it the?
Yeah, the ceiling is an NBA championship. Absolutely.
The ceiling is the NBA. The floor is them missing the playoffs.
The floor is missing the playoffs.
Yeah, that's the floor. 3 minutes. I'm timing you, okay? 3 minutes, and then we
don't have to time them. You can stay as long as you like. Yeah. What's up, brother?
Tom, damn, I'm getting timed. All right.
Go. That's on Harden.
Well, in another hour, I'm supposed to beat the shit out of some Bulls fans in another hour. But listen, all right, yeah, definitely. That's how you feel. Damn, Flu. I thought we was cool, right?
You know, I just we cool. I said you can stay as long as you like. You know, I'll play.
Yeah, man. But yeah, the zippers, the flippers. Come on, man. Chill Town. We talked about this. Man. We know what this is. We know what this is. It's gonna be little.
Don't worry, she can't hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, we know what this is, Fluent. I'm surprised that you know what this is. You know exactly what this is.
I'm not buying any of it. I'm being nice about it. I have no emotions about it because I know what's gonna happen. I have no emotions.
We all know what's gonna happen. They're gonna slip and fall and bust their damn lip.
Exactly.
Like, of course.
Yeah.
It's every time.
It sucks too, man. That we doing this. Like we know what's gonna happen. That's why I'm saying, like, what happens if this thing doesn't and it goes the other way and they actually do work this out, right?
I tell you what happened. Listen, in terms of I'm gonna get to the Russ and the Harden case.
Yeah.
If you go look at the numbers the video game numbers that they was putting up as solo acts once upon a time, man, before this league turned into what it turned into, like if you add that along with a championship, somehow, some way, they get nerfed up and put on another echelon of their positions. Now you got top 10 Russ point guard conversations, and now you got top 5 James Harden 2 guard conversations. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? At least in that aspect, bro. Like in terms of PG, me personally, I think one of the most well-rounded, less holes in his game type of players that we have ever seen. And for him to win the championship, it and a Finals MVP, because I think he's the best player on this team with 27, 5 and 5, 50, 40, 90 splits already.
Definitely the most consistent. Like in terms of playing and availability, yes, agreed.
Exactly, and the most consistent out of availability and production and playing. Now you thinking to yourself, man, like, yo, this is a guy that finally maxed out what Tracy McGrady was supposed to max out. You know what you claiming Jason Tatum is about to be, and everything. So if you look at that, you add that to it, and then you add Kawhi to it. I think Kawhi could finally bow out gracefully, because everybody knows he has a condition, and this condition is going to get worse, as you said. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, we all on the same page about the clip is going to clip, bro. Like, what we don't know is who they going to clip against. That's what we don't know. We don't know if it's the Golden Fake Warriors. We don't know if it's the Lakers. We don't know if it's the
we do know it's not the Phoenix Suns. We do know that.
I'm not sure if it's the Phoenix Suns. We don't know if it's going to be the Nuggets. We know that there's something with those Buffalo teams that they just can't get over that championship hump.
Right.
0-4.
That is a fact. And listen, and we seen it in the early 90s flu shot, man, and we gonna see it again. You know what I'm saying? Listen. But at the same time, bro, like I can't help but to feel some type of way for Kawhi and PG, like in terms of not getting, and I think Kawhi is forever going to be dogged about what he did as a Clipper. The average NBA career is how long on Chilltown?
4 years.
4 years. Okay, and from 2014 to 2019, Kawhi Leonard gave you 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards and 2 Finals MVPs. To me, sound to me like somebody that maxed out.
Well, he was playing. He was playing at an elite level. Yes, he was.
No,
When he was playing at an elite level.
The thing, right? When he plays, he's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. He's playing at an elite level.
When he plays.
The only one I feel bad for, because I don't feel bad for Kawhi. Because Kawhi, look, there's some injuries there, but in terms of, look, he's won championships. He's won awards. Like, he's good. Russell Westbrook, just his style of play is not, I'm just sorry, it's not conducive to winning. So I'm not worried about him. I don't really like his attitude either. Like I said, that pettiness. James Harden, not a fan of the way that he worked his way out of all these situations, the whole Fatsu thing, like calling out your owner or GM, whatever, is a lot. Don't like any of it. So I don't care about him. PG is the one that I'm like, before his injury, he was on that trajectory too. Then he has this injury, but he comes back. But I'll tell you, I don't like the way he worked himself out of OKC either. But that being said, he's the one that I'm like, he's the one who hasn't had that success that seems to be like, wants to work hard, wants to be better. So I feel
I would have to agree with you on PG. And one last point about PG, I think when we talk about a guy that has very little holes in his game, I think to myself, man, like how many guys in the history of this league can we say that about? In terms of what they bring on the basketball court, defense, you got the mid-range, you got the short game, you got the long ball, you can attack the rim, he could play make, he could rebound. We talking about one of the most well-rounded players in the history of this game when we talk about Paul George, and he's probably going to end up ringless, just like Harden and Chris Paul and all these other bozos that we've been claiming for the last decade was one of the sorriest decades in basketball history. Like it's a sorry ass decade, bro, and it's a decade that's been ran by LeBron James saying, "I need this play, I need this play, I need that play, I want to play with him. Let's get superstars." And now the NBA done made a CBA.
This is when Leaf loses me. He had me for a while, and this is when he loses me.
You're doing so well.
This is when he loses me.
When I tell the truth about somebody that you like, now I lose.
I'm so straight.
When I tell the truth about somebody you like, I lose you. That's what it is. It's somebody that you like and somebody that you approve of. And when I tell the truth about it, you don't like it. That's what it is.
You know what I missed? On Tuesday, I did a top 10 most delusional fan bases, and I clearly missed James Harden because people are saying you guys are hating on James Harden. We're not hating on James Harden. We're just factually talking about James Harden. But that being said, I need this team to fail. And I need this team to fail not because they don't belong in my city. I need this team to fail because if they succeed, then other teams are going to go back to thinking this is the way to win.
Exactly. It's a copycat league. Even though more teams have failed than succeeded,
more teams have failed.
Like that. Exactly. Way more teams, and not just failed miserably.
Yeah,
and a lot of them teams had LeBron James on it, bro. By the way, but listen, I'm saying,
that's where
listen. While we still on the subject, I think the fact that it is a James Harden fan base.
Leave my king alone. Leave my king alone.
Get out
of here alone.
You don't see. You don't even believe in enough. You don't even believe in that picture enough to hang it up. That's why you sit in the corner. That's exactly why you sit in the corner.
The only reason why he got that is because his little man got it for him. That's the only reason why he asked.
It was at a book sale.
That's it. That's the only reason why it's in the house.
He used his hard-earned money, and he said, "You're a Laker fan."
You see that? You see that Kobe book behind him? That's his guy, right? That's his guy. The only reason why that James Chris is in there,
but he got a Bears helmet sitting on top of it, so it's all mixed up in there.
That's the only reason why he got that, because his little man got that.
A lot of garbage. All right, we're gonna let you go. But I appreciate you coming through.
Oh, you mean like your quarterback in San Francisco? Sorry, I heard garbage.
That's what it sounds like. Did y'all think I was gonna forget about the Niners? Did y'all think I was gonna? Did you think I was going to let it go?
Is he talking about the Niners when he's talking about Green Bay right now? Where
we're not contenders. We're not contenders.
They're not in the conversation, but they're able to come into our
Niners trying to catch They need Tom Brady.
We're not contenders, Jill. We don't have CMC. We don't have a top defense. What's your problem?
How the hell
we got a new quarterback. That's what our problem is.
I got a new quarterback.
This is his first year as a starter. This is his first year as a starter.
Quarterback my ass.
This is his first year as a starter.
Can you tell me
after starting 5-0?
This is first. No, I'm sorry, 7-0. He started 7-0 last year as the third string.
Okay.
And it was carried by the defense.
Hold on. When he was doing good, I didn't hear you saying he was a new quarterback. When I told you teams were going to,
you absolutely heard me say he was. Don't do that, Tone. Do not make it sound like Don.
Figure it out.
Do not make it. Do not.
Hold on.
Bite him.
Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you the teams were going to figure him out and he was going to start to look pedestrian? Right. And you said, no, man, I think he's really got it. I think he's got it.
That's not what happening. He's not even the main. I mean, he has been. He was concussed. He was literally got a concussion, and that's when he started throwing a bunch of interceptions.
In my day, you just got your belt wrong.
Did he get a concussion or did somebody concuss him?
I don't know what the difference is between the two. But what I'm trying to make sense of,
ladies and gentlemen,
I don't know the difference between the two. But what I'm saying is last year when he showed up, when we were 6-0. I'm on record saying he looked like the guy who should have been starting from the beginning. That doesn't negate the fact that he's still new, and I still don't know what I'm doing.
Trey Lance.
I still don't know. So he starts less than half the season. Here he is today, starting the season, and we jump out the box 5-0. We're going through a bit of a slump right now. He's still my guy. Still my guy. 100%. He's still my guy. This is his first year starting as a full-time starter. He still needs to recognize defenses because I'm watching him get tricked more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times by linebackers in drop coverage. He's getting tricked by that. Why is he getting tricked by that? Because I don't know the game yet. I'm still learning it. And when I figure this out, which he's going to, we're still going to be rolling. We're still going to be rolling.
The problem, you know what the problem is with that, Chill? Y'all don't have that type of time stamp. Bro. You figure it out quickly.
Who said anything about who said about 3 years? Last I checked, we still at the top of the NFC. It ain't like we suck.
We're not anymore.
No, we're not in first place, but we still at the top of the NFC
West. No, we're not.
I know Seattle's in first place. But we're still one of the best teams in the NFC West. We're still at the top of the NFC. It ain't like we in 5th or 6th place. We're still one of the best teams in the NFC West. What are we doing?
Chill.
Geno Smith is better than Brock Purdy.
This is the part where you get counted out for the 1, 2, 3. Because in the last 3 games, y'all have been in the shitter. That's what it's been. Like, and I don't see y'all getting out because every part that makes y'all
so we losing the rest of our games. That's what we doing. So
everything that makes y'all team good is getting exposed.
So we ain't winning no more games for the rest of the season.
It's funny how you say you're at the top of the NFC and I pulled it up because I didn't know. You're 1 game ahead of Atlanta.
Okay. Oh, so if the season ended today, where are we, Tom?
You'd be 5th. And only 7 make the playoffs.
So we're in a wild card.
You're in a wild card, yeah.
So we're not at the top of the
Packers or the Bears. All right.
We're not at the top of the NFC no more.
They stink. We admit they stink.
We are garbage. Listen, I know our teams are garbage.
You guys are living vicariously through the Niners because both of y'all's team are absolutely.
No, I'm living vicariously through my son's Eagles and my wife's Bengals because they're both looking much better.
I'm not living through nobody.
Thank you very much.
I know who the 49ers are. I don't trust them.
No, you don't. You
Yes,
think
I
you know who we
do.
are.
Yes, I do.
You're a world-class hater. You think you know who we are.
I'm a hater.
No, you didn't. No, you did not, Lee.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't,
Yes, I
Lee.
did.
No, you didn't,
I told you on
man.
your page. I told you on your channel. I told you on this channel. I told you about them. I don't trust them.
Wait. Hold on, Tom. Tell everybody here what you told me, so I'm clear.
I told you weeks ago I do not trust the 49ers.
And why don't you trust us, Lee? What's the problem?
Because Brock Purdy is going to get exposed. Everything good about y'all team is going to get exposed. Y'all try to bully everybody. It started in Cleveland. Y'all got bullied by them, and y'all can't do this bully football no more. Everybody is catching on to it. It's a wrap.
What's been the common denominator since that game, Leaf?
The common denominator is that Brock Purdy can't stretch the field.
What's been the real common denominator throughout all 3 of those games?
Can't stretch, so he can't throw neither. Even though he's one of the best, even though he's one of the best downfield throwers in the game. That's number one.
Wait. You got to understand. He's following what Kyle Shanahan wants him to do. The drag route.
That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm running the offense. What are you talking about, Lee?
Yelling.
It ain't like this. Hey, this is what we're doing. It ain't like this. Hey, this is what we're gonna do. Give him the football. This is what we're doing.
He's not going outside the box.
Give him the football and just let him just do whatever he wants to do. So we got Tom Brady. That's what I'm saying. So we got Dan Marino. That's what we got. So we're not gonna let him run the offense. Give him the football and just let him do whatever he wants to do. And by the way, this dude just started. This is his first year starting. But give him the football and let him just.
You're gonna give me this first year start in the middle.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lee.
All right, Lee, I'm kicking you out. Bye. I have to kick you because otherwise.
This is nuts to me. This is absolutely amazing.
Did I tell you guys I figured it out? Later, Leaf. Did I tell you guys I figured it out?
Oh my god.
Did I tell you guys I figured it out?
Figured what out?
Oh.
What is that?
I don't like it. AI. It's AI something.
Here you go, H.
This is the balloon.
Here you go, H. Here you go, H. With the AI logic. Here we go.
I don't like it.
Down, and then it's the peace sign or the 2 that brings up the balloons. I don't know why it's not working right now, but anyways.
Interesting.
It's supposed to. Did you do the thumbs up and thumbs down?
I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, dude, try it. You have to do it right. Boom.
No.
I don't like it.
No, I don't think so.
Some weird Canadian settings on that.
That's what it sounds like to me, H. Like you got something.
The balloons aren't. The balloons used to work, but hey, now I don't have the balloons. Every time I counted, I was like 1, 2, and then.
Yeah, scary. FIFA, Fluent, explain why you have the Hornets 15 best in the league.
No problem. I didn't have them 15th best in the league. I said preseason power rankings. I had them as 15th because we had a nice conversation with Mark Williams. Is it his agent? Mark Williams, by the way, did you see that 2-handed snatch block he had the other night or last week
against Detroit? Yeah,
that was nasty. So he made me really feel like if they were healthy, they were like a mid-tier team. 15 is right in the middle of the league, and they're they're doing what they do. So new power rankings will have them lower. That's why you do power rankings every week.
Very true. Very true. Cruiser Nation 3, the dog cage. What up, Chill and Fluent and the PC Queen? What up?
What up?
What up?
What up?
Low key 870. Don't trip over the chat, OG. They're lames.
I just don't like the fact that you throw rocks and hide your hands. That's all. Like if you really got something to say,
it's not the internet, Jay. It's infuriating. Come do it.
Hey, that is the epitome of what the chat is. That's what we do. This is to get people riled up.
It's so corny. They're just people.
I were to say, right? If I were just think about it, what did I say about Jokic? Did I say he was a bad passer?
No, you did not.
No, what I said was passing is a skill that can be developed and get better. Now,
they twist your words.
And so they take the piece that they want to hear and they just run with that one little piece. They don't want to listen to the extra. It's like the other side of things. I've always said this, confirmation bias. People don't look for the truth. They look for things that prove what they already believe. That's not research. How many times have I said to you, I didn't know that. You're right. I say that all the time because when I've gone and looked, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. Like there's no reason. I just did a thing with this one pod that was saying, LeBron James is a phenomenal specimen and no one could play defense like he played defense. Show me another player playing defense. And I said, okay. And I said, here's, another player playing defense. Go, but that doesn't take away from LeBron James' physical ability or his ability to play defense, and nor does him being a great defender take away from the other person being a great defender. They are both allowed to be great defenders. It can't be. It doesn't have to be right. Two things can be true. One or the other. Two things can't be true. So it's just true. You want to grasp that.
Two things can be definitely true. Yes, they can.
In the building.
Yeah, SB. We don't have a ton of time, but I'm going to bring you up for. I'm going to bring him up for this topic really quick since he's here.
I mean, the time that's coming up next is my time, but it's cool.
I know. Well, we're going to, so we have this last, something Jay sent me. So I'm going to bring this up and you give me your take too.
Okay.
But the Milwaukee Bucks, we've already seen Boston, Milwaukee. It's kind of a two-team race, I guess, in the East so far from what it's looking like, right? But Jay sent me this. He said, It says the Bucks are currently 29th in defensive rating this season, which Jay, you might know what they're coming off of last season. I know it was a lot higher than that. And obviously a question mark that we had with them losing Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez getting older, yada yada. So SB, does that concern you at all for Milwaukee and their chances in the East?
No, because I think sometimes we overreact and we don't got enough sample size. Like you can't make too many good food with only two ingredients. I don't know how many. I guess it's just noodles or cereal. You get milk cereal, waters, and noodles. We don't got enough sample size to see. Now if this still going for like 25 to 30 games, then yeah, I hear you. So it's like we only how many games in the season really they done played so far? That's not enough. That's not enough time.
So 5 games is not enough to pick my MVP.
I mean, you could predict that you think they're gonna still do that. Yeah, but
all right, let me give you a little history lesson.
Mm-hmm.
In the first 5 games of an NBA season, only 6 players in the history of the NBA have been able to achieve this in the first 5 games. 100 points, 50 rebounds, 25 assists. Oh, there's the balloons. 25 assists and 10 blocks. Only 6 people in NBA history have been able to do that. I'll repeat it: 100 points, 50 rebounds, 25 assists, and 10 blocks. They are Larry Bird, Giannis Antetokounmpo in 21-22. Told you the peace sign's going to work. Anthony Davis in 18-19.
Okay.
Kevin Garnett in 04-05. Charles Barkley in 86-87. And this year, Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes.
All right, guys. How I fall for that? I knew it
That was
something
easy.
to it.
No
That was
better.
easy.
He lost when he said Anthony Davis. I'm like,
Scotty Barnes at BC.
Scotty Barnes.
that's my cousin.
He is much improved. He's much improved.
That's my cousin, by the way. That's my cousin, Scotty Barnes, Shaq Barnes.
You do look like Scotty Barnes a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't tell us your government name is Barnes. People don't need to know that much information.
Oh, man, look everything. Hey, you see, I'm back in the crib. We got rid of it. You like this? You like this? You see the goat? You see the goat sound right there?
I do. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah. I might just put a GOAT player there every time. No, LeBron might take 21 seasons to get right here.
I also saw Jay's face when he saw it. He was like, "We do not care."
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
He must see. Look, I know why OG does care, because he was here. They're going to hashtag Chill was here. He was here when this happened.
I was.
He probably.
Yes, I was.
You was?
Yeah, I was.
Somebody just said Zach LaVine just got traded. Is that true? Or is that cap? Okay.
No, he's not for sale. Don't do that. Don't.
That's not true.
My phone has been blowing up by now. Everybody.
You want me to text Woj? Let me text Woj.
Yeah, text Woj. Yeah. No, I'd have got like 40 calls if Zach LaVine got traded.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, thoughts. Are you guys concerned about Milwaukee with the difference of 29th in the league? You said it's a small sample size, KSB. So, Jay, what do you think? What sparked your interest about this?
Damian Lillard in Portland. I think in 11 years that he was in Portland, he was on 2 teams that was in the top 15 in the league in defense, 2 of them. And those 2 teams went deep into the playoffs. The teams that he was on that were at the bottom of the league in defense, they weren't very good at all. And when you play on a team where you got great defensive players, the point of attack guy, he enhances the defense. The problem with Milwaukee is they don't have anybody that enhanced the defense like Drew did. So you could say the same thing about, well, Cleveland doesn't really have anybody like that. Just so you guys know, Donovan Mitchell, when he showed up to the NBA, he showed up as a defender. That's who Donovan Mitchell was when he showed up to the NBA. He became a scorer. Coming out of Louisville, he was a defender. Yeah. And he does play defense. He's actually been playing defense this year in Cleveland. So he's not like he's a cone, because no, he's not. He will defend. Damian Lillard, on the other hand, is regarded as one of the worst defenders, not just worst guard defenders, one of the worst defenders that the league has seen at his position and overall. So when you play in that bad as a defender, that affects your defense. That affects your team defense overall. So I'm having a difficult time with the logic that this is going to improve. And Milwaukee, I mean, the year that they won the NBA championship, Tony and I have had this conversation. I'm not a big fan of defensive rating. I think Milwaukee had the 10th defensive rating that year, the year that they won the NBA championship. Nobody talks about the fact that they was giving up 100 and I think 22, 114 a game that year. That was good enough for 22nd in the league. They were at the bottom of the league, giving up almost. They were in the bottom 10 in the league, giving up points. So, I mean, with that being said, Dame doesn't play defense. This is going to be a problem later on in the season because he's going to go up against teams that are going to slow him down. We've seen Dame get slowed down in the playoffs. And if you can't slow other teams down, it's going to be a problem. That's why I don't think that this thing is working out. I'd be surprised if it worked out this year. That's why I'm giving it a 2-3 year window tops.
Especially with the way Boston's looking too. They look
right.
Ooh,
right.
Crazy.
Right.
Fluent, any thoughts? I mean, I don't know how much NBA you've been able to watch with work, but what defenses have stood out to you so far? What team defenses have stood out to you so far this season?
Oh yeah,
Zach LaVine trade. He fell for that trap. Zach LaVine ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, go for it. I trust you guys.
I've been sitting here trying to find Zach LaVine trade news.
It would have been real
top of your timeline.
Yeah, it'd have been real bad because the episode, today's episode, is Zach LaVine's not for sale, and did he get traded? That'd be crazy. I wouldn't know how to come into the show like, oh yeah,
that would have been perfect.
Depending on who you got. I mean, like if you're trading Zach LaVine and you got something legit for him,
right?
As opposed to if you traded Zach LaVine for 2 second rounds and a future one.
No.
I won't be supporting the Bulls no more if that happens.
We out on the Chicago Bulls.
We out.
We out on these dudes.
You go see me on Gold Blooded. I'm a Warriors fan now, so like I'm gonna pop over like, hey, I'm over there with you.
Let's go.
We over there. But
yeah,
man, so I gotta go ahead and prepare for the show.
Yeah.
Guys.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. You guys make sure to stay tuned for the Bull Show following this. I See Red and get their take on.
Is it I See Red or is it Seeing Red?
Oh, See Red. I think it's just See Red.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely stay tuned. James B just hit you with the super chat. Fluent, he said, share your list you had on Tuesday.
Which one?
No idea. What'd you do?
I don't know.
I did most delusional fan bases.
Oh,
let me see.
Do you have your list?
I think I have it. I'm pretty sure I have it.
I feel like I could list that off myself.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Top 10.
I'm not going to put them in order. Boston, Warriors, Lakers, Clippers.
It was every sport though. So you're just doing
yeah. So the Cowboys at the top of that list.
Yeah, 100%.
Cowboys were number one.
Cowboys at the top.
It was top 10. It was top 10 teams, delusional fan base, and then top 10 player, most delusional fan bases.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean,
Lakers are up there, but
Cowboys, Warriors.
I think I have it. Oh no, I have it right. My bad. I went old school on this one. I had it written down. I was looking on my phone because sometimes I
don't think I made a list. I don't think I made one.
So here it is. So top 10. Number 10, the Buffalo Braves. Right, because they never win and their fans always think they're gonna win and they trade for James Harden. And number nine, Notre Dame football. Right, they've been irrelevant. They always and even they put them in the top 20 to start the season because they have these draft classes or recruiting classes. They're trash. Yeah. Number 8, the Cleveland Browns, delusional, painting their their team is so bad that when they left to Baltimore, they waited, and once Cleveland got another team, then they won the Super Bowl. They're like, okay, we're not affiliated with Cleveland anymore. Now we're winning a Super Bowl. Number seven. Listen, I was being realistic. People attacked me and said I was a hater. I was being realistic. I took away my personal biases because I had number 7, the Chicago Bulls. They're living off a decade.
Yes, they are.
6 rings in that one decade. They sucked before. They've sucked after. They think they're still living off that. Mm-hmm. Number 6, the New York Jets. Let's be honest, right? It's the Jets.
The degenerate Jet fan. Yes.
Number 5. This will prove again. I put the Lakers up number 5 because we're spoiled and delusional. We think we're going to win every single year, and that every free agent, everyone is coming. I don't care if we run late, Sebastian. Stop telling me to hurry up, bro. My show. I don't give a damn.
We're good.
Number four. You guys probably don't know this one, but the Toronto Maple Leafs. They haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1967, and they sold out their stadium for 50 years after. 50 straight years. Every game for 50 years, and everyone's like, this is our year, and they plan a parade route. They're insane. Number 3, the Green Bay Packers. 30 years, 8 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls. Delusional. You think you're going to win? Stop. Number 2, my team, James Dolan. Give me a call, bro. I'm ready.
The Knicks are definitely at the top of that list. Yes, they are.
Free agent is going to the Knicks. When have they gotten? When was the last time they got a big name free agent?
Julius Randle.
Stop it. I said big name.
Julius Randle.
Count, Jay.
He's the only All-Pro they had in the last 10 years since Carmelo.
Here you go.
So we clear on that.
Okay. Last for you.
Get some help. Number 1, the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm sorry, seeing red, we're going to go 1 minute late because I'm going to give you the top 10 players. Number 10, because some people think he's the greatest baseball player of all time, and they're wrong. Derek Jeter. Number 9, you're delusional, bro. Number 9, Conor McGregor. Stop it. Like, he's a personality. He's not the best fighter. Number 8, Messi.
What are you talking about?
They're delusional. They think, listen, why I say delusional? People think he's the greatest, and it's not even close. You know that it's close. It's close. Ronaldo is that number 7 because his fans think that he's better than Messi. And
yes, that's delusional.
That's delusional. Number 6, James Harden. They still think he can make a difference and win a chip. Delusional. Number 5. Listen, number 5 is a tough one because it's Tom Brady. And here's why.
Yeah, I like it.
Because they think he's the GOAT of football. No, dum-dum. He's the GOAT of quarterbacks. He is not the GOAT of football.
I like
Number 4, Babe Ruth. Dude, you tell me there hasn't been a better baseball player in 100 years?
100, Tone. A whole decade, a whole century. There's not been a better baseball player than Babe Ruth in a whole century. Oh my God.
Number 3, and I'm not a fan. He's not even in my top 5 in terms of fandom. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan. Oh, he's the GOAT. It's not even close. No, dummy, it's close. He walks on water. He's never lost. No, he's lost a lot. He's got swept a lot. He's missed a bunch of games. He retired 100 times. Like, no, he's got faults. Number 2, the other guy in the GOAT debate, LeBron James. He's the GOAT. No, he's perfect. No, he's not. He choked out of finals. He was the favorite and lost 2 years in a row as the number 1 seed in the NBA. He's got faults too. Delusional dum-dums. And number one. These guys think this guy's a top 10 player, and he's not even top 20. He is this modern day Dominique Wilkins, this modern day George Gervin.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. All right, you guys, we gotta sign off, but appreciate y'all for coming through. We had good discussions, and like I said, if we didn't get to your team, we'll try to get to it next week. Just leave a comment or send a super chat next week, and we'll get to it.
And I will be here. I will be here. The whole episode.
Fluent and chill. Easy money sniper. That's right. All right, Jay.
Easy money.
Me.
Take it light, but take it.
Bye, you
Call
guys.
your mother.